Now let's go to the next question. So the structure which is not attached to the styloid process. So which structures among these are not attached to the styloid process? It is very clear and straightforward over here. You have styloglossus, you have stylopharyngeus, you have stylohyoid, and you have hyoglossus. So as the name suggests, hyoglossus means it has to be from the hyoid bone to the tongue, right? So let's see what are the structures which are attached to the styloid process. And what do you mean by the styloid apparatus? So there is something called a styloid apparatus, right? So what do we mean by this styloid apparatus, right? So let's see. So this is the styloid process. So you know that the styloid process is actually being ensheathed. The root of the styloid process is ensheathed by the tympanic plate or the tympanic part of the temporal bone, and then it comes down. It is an extension and it comes down, and you have attachments of 2 ligaments to it and 3 muscles to it. So the 2 ligaments which are attached to the styloid process, you have the stylohyoid ligament and the stylomandibular ligaments are not adjustable, and whereas the 3 muscles which are attached to the stylo process, you can see it will give to the pharynx. The highest attachment is to the pharynx, that is the stylopharyngeus, so highest. Then you have the styloglossus which is next. So you have from the base, is nearly from the base, you have the stylopharyngeus which is a longitudinal muscle of the pharynx. Then you have the styloglossus which is coming from the middle portion of the styloid process and goes to the tongue. And then you have from the tip of the styloid process to the greater cornu of the hyoid bone, you have a muscle, and that is the stylohyoid. Okay, clear? So there are 3 muscles and 2 ligaments which are attached by the which are attached to the styloid process. Now another very important point over here, you can see that there are 3 muscles I am telling you. So one is a pharyngeal muscle, okay, stylopharyngeus. One is the muscle of the tongue, so styloglossus, and one is the muscle which is actually attached to the hyoid bone. And these 3 muscles are supplied by 3 different cranial nerves. That is the beauty of styloid apparatus. You can be asked any kind of question over here because you should know the nerve supply of these muscles, right? So these 3 muscles are being supplied by 3 different cranial nerves. So you can see that is from the base, the stylopharyngeus is being supplied by the 9th cranial nerve. Styloglossus is a muscle of the tongue, so it is being supplied by the 12th cranial nerve. And the stylohyoid, which is very closely related to the stylohyoid ligament and the stylohyoid muscle, and the stylohyoid is supplied by the 7th cranial nerve or the facial nerve. Okay, clear? So 3 different cranial nerves are supplying the 3 different muscles or the 3 muscles which are attached to the styloid process. Level of attachment to the base of the styloid process, first you have the stylopharyngeus, next you have the styloglossus, and then towards the tip of the styloid process, posterior aspect, you have the stylohyoid muscle. What are the 2 ligaments which are attached to the styloid process? You have the ligaments which are attached are the stylohyoid ligament. So now the stylohyoid ligament goes to the lesser cornu of the hyoid bone and the stylomandibular ligament. Now the stylomandibular ligament is a modification of the investing layer of deep cervical fascia, and it helps to separate 2 salivary glands. Above you have the parotid gland and below you have the submandibular gland. Clear? So stylohyoid ligament, and then you have the stylopharyngeus, the stylomandibular ligament.